Hi, this is Jason McCann with Mountain Tactical Company. For the last 13 years, Mountain Tactical has helped an average of 15,000 to 20,000 Tikka shooters build their ultimate Tikka rifle systems. Today, we're going to be talking about our magazine retention spring. So why is a magazine retention spring important? Well, this spring is designed to hold the back of your magazine up in the action, and that prevents the bolt from sliding over around when you're trying to load your chamber. So why do we need an aftermarket magazine retention spring? Well, springs are an easy way for manufacturers to save money in the manufacturing process and keep the price point of their product down. So they'll typically make springs out of the least expensive material that does the job. For those of us who actually use our rifles and use them a lot, we can wear this spring down in the factory rifle, and it no longer holds the back of the magazine up, and then all of a sudden you have failure to feeds where your bolt is just sliding right over your magazine. So we designed a spring out of 17.7 precipitation hardened stainless steel. This material is designed to make springs for the petroleum industry, where you need a spring that performs in a corrosive environment under harsh conditions and never loses its tension. And so this spring is designed to give you a lifetime of service in your rifle. So what we're going to do next is show you how to install your magazine retention spring from Mountain Tactical. Let's look at the tools we need. We're going to need a Torx driver with a T25 Torx bit. If you have an older T3 that has the flat head or the slotted action screws, you will need a slotted Torx head, or excuse me, you'll need a slotted bit for your Torx driver. Might be a good opportunity to upgrade your rifle to our T25 Torx action screws if you still have one of those old ones. And then you're gonna need a 5mm T-handle or Allen key, and a nice steady gun caddy or gun vise to keep your rifle from moving around while you're working on it. All right, let's dive in here. This rifle has been made safe. We have a chamber flag in the chamber, so there's no round in there. There's no magazine inside the action, and we're going to remove our bolt and flip the rifle over in our gun caddy. This is going to expose our two action screws. This is a new T3x, so we have T25 Torx action screws. And remove the front one, which is the shorter of the two. Your rear tang action screw is longer. I'm going to set that aside. So if you ever get them mixed up, long one goes in the rear, short one goes in the front. I'm going to take our rifle and separate the barreled action from the stock, and we're going to set the stock aside someplace safe and set our barreled action in our caddy. So here is our factory magazine retention spring, and this is the spring that can wear out over time. And it's held in place by a 5mm driven bolt. So we're going to take our 5mm T-handle, and when you loosen this, just be aware that this is also the bolt that holds your trigger assembly on. So, as I drop my bolt across the table, just be aware that that is going to loosen the entire trigger assembly. And so you can see our magazine retention spring is shaped just like the factory one. You'll notice a difference in color because ours is made of a different material. So you'll take the Mountain Tactical magazine retention spring, drop your bolt through there, put this through your trigger housing, take your 5mm T-handle, and use your fingers to hold the spring flat against the front of the trigger housing. You want this to be flat so that way it provides even pressure against your magazine. When you're tightening this down, there's going to be a tendency for this to actually rotate with the bolt. There is no written torque setting for this particular bolt. Some people blue Loctite that in. Just be careful that you don't over tighten it if you use blue Loctite, because you can damage the action. I just tighten it nice and snug, and I've never had one come loose. So our spring is nice and square. Our bolt is torqued back down. I'm going to take my stock, put my barreled action, line everything up. You want to make sure that you have the recoil lug sitting in the slot on the action. You can actually sit on top of the recoil lug, and you'll know that because your vent port here will not be flush with the stock. If this vent port is raised above the edge of the stock, you're actually sitting on top of the recoil lug. You're actually not engaged with the recoil lug. I'm going to put some downward pressure on the barreled action to make sure we're seated against the recoil lug. Take my front action screw. Just turn a few times so we have some threads engaged. Take my rear action screw. Turn it until I have some threads engaged, and then I'm going to go back and forth until this starts to get a little snug. Now this is a synthetic stock. I have my torque driver set to 45 inch-pounds. If you're working on a wooden or laminate stock, do not torque it past 35 inch-pounds. You will damage your stock. And if you accidentally torque your synthetic stock down to 65 inch-pounds, which is in the book for the TAC A1, you can damage the synthetic stock. So 45 inch-pounds, nice safe number. You can test fit everything, but now you have a spring that's going to last the lifetime of a rifle. Once you get everything back together, function test it, and go get some trigger time.